the 49ers, during the draft, right before, or either during the draft or the day before, turned down a trade. The Patriots called, and they wanted Jimmy G back. Mm-hmm. They wanted their boy back. They felt they booted him out prematurely. Tommy won the power struggle. They didn't know, really, or they probably more directly didn't know what they had with Cam. They didn't know what would happen with Mac, if he would necessarily be there. Maybe they weren't overly enamored with Mac yet. I don't know.
I think it was probably they didn't think he would fall to 15.
Maybe. Probably, I'm sure, because they did all their draft intel. Yep. That's fair. So they called up the Niners, and they wanted to give up a second-round pick to reacquire Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, to me, this is borderline negligent on the part of the San Francisco 49ers. Because by drafting Trey Lance, you already told us that, and everybody knew that Jimmy's not the quarterback of the future.
That's right.
Taking Trey Lance third overall, that just solidified that notion, number one. And number two, if you didn't think Trey was ready, and he's not, and we get that, you could have still traded Jimmy, gotten a two-back, and then acquired a veteran.
Yes. And
still go forward with the plan of training the bullpen.
There were plenty of veterans that were out there. I mean, I think Ryan Fitzpatrick might even still have been available. Maybe he had already signed.
When did he sign with Washington?
I can't remember when he signed with Washington, but who knows? Maybe he was already available. Who knows? But even if he wasn't, somebody else was likely available to be your teacher for Trey Lance. You're veteran in the locker room for Trey Lance. So I hear what you're saying. I think the other side of this is the idea that the New England Patriots, still believe in Jimmy Garoppolo. And who knows where Jimmy's career goes from here. And maybe if he had gone back to New England and it was a more familiar, conducive offense to what he likes to do, or what like Tom Brady used to do, which was pitch the ball around the field, short distances, timing, all those things that Josh McDaniels has done throughout his career that I think Jimmy Garoppolo would be really good at. Not necessarily what Kyle Shanahan is trying to do with his offenses. Maybe Jimmy Garoppolo, we wouldn't have this regressing feeling about Jimmy Garoppolo if he had gone back to New England. But I think ultimately for the Patriots, it played out well because Mac Jones is going to turn into a player, right? I'm not saying he's going to be a Hall of Famer or an All-Pro type guy, but he's smart, he's accurate.
Yep.
You can see the growth almost every game. You see him do something new and different, and he's not making the same mistakes over and over again. It's not like he had that 3 interception game. I forget when it was, 3 or 4 weeks ago. And you were like, oh, this could be a spiral. No, he just shut it off and
fixed it right away.
Had one of his best games the following week. So I think they're in great shape with Mac Jones in New England. But I agree with you, BT. Like it creates the idea that they really didn't want Jimmy Garoppolo because they drafted Trey Lance, but they also had a chance to get rid of him when they could have, and they wouldn't be in this plight that they're in right now.
Yeah, Garoppolo's. He's in an odd space right now.
But he came into the season in an odd space.
I agree with that
because he knew. I mean, I've never been in that spot, and it's only. I think it's unique to quarterbacks. Like you wouldn't have the same feeling for, like, say, a running back is balling, and then they draft someone in the first round. In fact, that happened to me with Ron Dane. You just kind of like, all right, cool. All right, I got to work for my job. Right?
Yeah, but that had to bother you deep down a little bit.
Not really. Only because Ron Dane was a great guy, right? And
but before you met him on draft day, when you
I hadn't established myself yet. So
that's true.
I was a starter, but I hadn't established myself really. I hadn't had a 1,000-yard season.
That's true.
And so it was. But even if I had, it'd just be like, all right, cool. You're gonna try to replace me.
That would bother me.
I'm not gonna.
It would motivate me even more. It would piss me off though a little bit.
But when it's a quarterback, it's like
because 2 quarterbacks can't play.
That's exactly.
You could get 25 carries. Ron could get 8, and you can kind of go there and see what happens.
That's exactly right.
Unless you're going to start mixing matches at the quarterback spot like they do in college,
or it could be 15 and 15 for a running back or tight end,
you can
or
do
something like that.
Whatever.
But for a quarterback, as soon as someone gets drafted in the first round and you're the guy on that team, it's over for you.
It's the toughest position in sports.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I didn't just break news with that, but when you think about the actual game day responsibility, diagnosing what's in front of you, directing 10 men into the end zone, 10 men, from a huddle, up the field, into an end zone, and hopefully to a win. And then the responsibility, the media responsibilities that come with it during the week, and just being the CEO of the franchise. And then, really, all the good, if you're good, that comes with it, the money, the acclaim. But then once there's just a little hint of instability at the position, you're looking over your shoulder every day of the week.
Right.
I mean, who are they drafting? Who are they signing? Did the kid they just drafted last year, is he going to play this week? What are they saying on social media? What are they banging on the local radio station? Who's complaining that I should be benched? It's a tough lot in life. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's also a quarterback and you're playing pro sports.
Yeah, you take
so
it.
We're all jealous of it.
It is what it is.
But it comes with a lot of terrain. Most of it's good, and a lot of it is not enviable, though.
No, I agree with
And Jimmy's in a rough spot. Like, I mean, is he going to finish the season as the starter?
I doubt it.
I don't think he does.
Especially as they start to slide.
Well,
now,
yeah, they're already sliding.
right?
They're going nowhere this year.
Yeah, exactly. They're 2-5, right?
Yep.
And so, I mean, they're at the back end. It's going to be a heavy hustle to catch up. By the way, the two teams ahead of them are great.
Yep.
So it's not like, oh yeah, we can catch them. They have some issues with the Arizona Cardinals, undefeated, and the Rams, who only have one loss. So I think that the challenge now for the San Francisco 49ers is how to make this not like awkward in transition. And maybe you just make it awkward in transition. I mean, who knows? Maybe you just don't care. But
Do you trade Jimmy before next week?
I wouldn't, because there is still also nobody behind Trey Lance, and he's been hurt. And so I probably wouldn't, but it just puts Jimmy Garoppolo in this really, I don't know, it's maybe one of the roughest spots we've seen in a while for a guy who took a team to a Super Bowl.
I'll say this about Jimmy. He seems to have the proper disposition to deal with it.
He's
very balanced. I'm not saying it doesn't bother him inside.
But it's bothering
But he doesn't project anything negatively or anti-team or anti-competition or anti-situation. He just rolls with it.
He won't. I mean, he's a good soldier, you can see, so to speak. He got paid.
Yeah.
Right. He saw what was happening. He knows that it's probably coming to an end at some point. But he just hoped it would have been longer, and it doesn't look like it's going to be.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell to be notified when we drop fresh content.